Hello folks, welcome to OTD, also known as On the Deck, where you can get all the sports you need in 10 minutes. My name is Adam Orduna, this is my mom Gina.
He is the journalist.
He's the enthusiast.
Must be enthusiastic. We got bees, we got heat, we got dogs, we got everything going on out here in the deck.
It's basically mid-May and it is really hot right now.
It feels like July out here.
It does. It's almost middle of the summer heat right now. So,
it is definitely
that just lets you know that there's some warm days coming this way.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, we want to talk about some interesting folks that have been in the news lately, and you know this is a sports show, so we're only talking about athletes. And
well, there's lots of interesting people in the news,
exactly.
But these are all sports-related, interesting people in the news.
And this isn't a bonehead segment like we normally do. This is just a question that we want to ask people.
Right.
And so, as the title suggests, we're talking about LaVar Ball, Tim Tebow, and Tony Romo. Now, the question is who's the biggest fraud? And we say fraud because that kind of implies, are they for real or are they fake? And
right.
Everyone has been talking about the LaVar Ball and Lonzo Ball basketball shoe. That
Lonzo? Is there a Lonzo in this equation? Because I think it's the LaVar show.
It is LaVar show.
We don't even know the kids' names anymore.
Regardless of who it is, LaVar Ball has been out in front of every camera, every podcast camera, newspaper, magazine. He has been in front talking about everything possible. And so we're not even getting into it. We're just talking about the shoe thing that has come out. He has decided to help his son come out with a brand new basketball shoe. It's called the Lonzo 2s or something like that.
It's like the LO2.
Yeah, and so all of this stuff is going on about the price range that he has set for these basketball shoes. They're $495 and then $999 with a signature, a personalized signature on the shoe. It's outrageous. It's unthinkable for the most part.
You know what else it is? It's unoriginal. Because Nike came out with the Nike ID shoe back when you were in 6th or 7th grade.
You can go online and build your own shoe, create your own shoe.
You can do it through eBay.
You can do it any way you want to.
Put your own number on it.
It's like, no one's going to buy the shoe, and if you do, I'm sorry for you. You spent a bunch of money that you're never going to get back. You can't get a refund if the shoe comes in and it doesn't fit. If it falls apart, you're not getting any money back. Who you're supposed to complain to? I don't understand it. You know, if I ordered a pair of shoes from Academy Sports a couple weeks ago. They sent me the right size, but it was the wrong shoe. I called them. They said, oh, no problem. No worries. We'll send it right away. I got the shoe back. I just returned the shoe that they sent me
to the store.
And everyone was super cool about it. They gave me my money back. It was totally awesome. What happens if that comes in the mail and you're like, wait a minute, this is a 13. I ordered a size 8.5.
Let's be clear. He thumbed his nose at Nike, Adidas, and Under Armour and said, we'll just come in and do our own. He came with a prototype, and in fairness, the shoe looks pretty good. He chose the right colors because black and gold always looks good. And the outside, the rim and stuff, it's got some nice little niches on it. I actually don't even hate on the little Z logo. The BBB on the bottom, it still looks like you're on Sesame Street. But at the end of the day, you have to pre-order the shoe now. It's not coming in for 6 months. And basically, he has to get enough money to manufacture these shoes on a large scale.
Correct.
Unlike Nike, Adidas, Under Armour, Reebok, Puma, all these actual places that manufacture shoes, they can do it at a lower cost.
Correct.
I guarantee part of the reason that price is so high is because he's got to make them for a high price.
Well, of course. And that's the only way he's going to make money. If he's really selling his shoes for $40 or whatever, or $50,
he's probably losing money on that.
He's not going to make any money. So he has to overprice them. But the thing about that, whatever, I just am not a fan of him. I'm not going to call him out his name or anything like that. I'm just not a fan. I don't like how he's gone about all the stuff with his son. I feel like he's handled himself very inappropriately on a lot of the sports talk shows, and I'm just over him. Now the shoe thing, I hope we're done. I hope all of this is done. There's too much to talk about, and so let's just continue to
we'll move on. We'll talk about somebody else.
The next person we're talking about here is Tim Tebow. This is a guy that had his big major league tryout or showcase at USC just a couple months ago. He was trying to make it to the majors. He's still trying to make it in the majors. The New York Mets picked him up and in the fall, basically. He did the fall ball training, and he's down there in Jacksonville, basically, or one of the Florida teams.
Playing for the Fireflies.
Exactly.
Is that what they're called, aren't they?
Fireflies right now. But the whole Tim Tebow stuff, it's all about selling tickets and getting people in the stands. And so for that, it's really just a sideshow. People are trying to build him up more than what he really is. No one's saying that Tim Tebow is a bad guy, but if this was any other person that's really, for the most part, trying to do exactly what he's doing, they wouldn't get the same type of notoriety that he's getting.
And then what recently came out just within the last week or so was that the pitchers, because let's think about it, this big showcase of his was really an opportunity for either aging pitchers to kind of get one last chance, or pitchers on the come up to throw, hey, somebody picked me up too. But he had a guy who was one of his fans who actually admitted, yeah, I'm a Tim Tebow fan. So he told Tebow in advance what he was throwing, and he basically
was grooving the pitch.
He was grooving the pitches for Tebow.
him to hit. And he was throwing fastballs specifically for him to be able to hit.
Which, by the way, before we even heard that, we all said that. When you watch it, you're like, these are grooved down the middle for him.
But even on his showcase, Tim Tebow didn't look like a baseball player. Some people are like, oh, he hadn't played in 13 years or however long it's been.
Which is the point.
But that is the point. It's just like golf. You can't just... you got to live at the golf course to be super good about that, and that's going to actually roll into our next topic. But anyway, the big question is, with that showcase happening, with that pitcher basically scripting the pitches for him, is that really going to make him ready for baseball? They brought him up during spring training. He was like 1 for whatever. He got hit by pitch. He was only up there for like 3 or 4 games, and they put him right back down to single A. Now he's with the Fireflies, and he's doing decent, but they're saying if he was really doing that good, he would have already made it back up to AAA or AA.
Well, I think he's sitting around 200, so I mean, you can call that decent if you want to.
But the point is that he's not really ready for baseball, and I think it's a great attempt, but at the end of the day, I still see him as the fraud category. This will die off at some point in time because he's probably never going to make it up there. And
see, what he needs to do,
never say never, but at the end of the day, it's going to be hard for him to make it to the majors.
Well, what he needs to do is come out with the Tim Tebow cleat. He needs to take a chunk out of LaVar balls and come out the Tebow glove or the Tebow medium shirt is what that needs to be.
Be a Mets ambassador. It's like, hey, I was part of the organization. They gave me a chance. I just want to help out the Mets. If you really want to be invested into baseball, that's what he should do at this point in time.
But let's be clear, Tim Tebow's not interested in a chance because he had his chance in the NFL.
Yes.
He thumbed his nose at Jacksonville Jaguars. So he's not interested in a chance. He wants to be the greatest.
Exactly.
So now who else is pretty good at doing something?
Well,
let's finish out.
Speaking of quarterbacks, let's talk about Tony Romo. This is a guy that basically walked away from being well, he wasn't the starter this last year, but he still had a good chance of being the starting quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys. CBS offered him a great deal to be one of their NFL analysts and cover the NFL games on Sundays, and he took it. He took that. He said, all right, I'm done with football. I'm going to go ahead and be an analyst. Good for you. It's a great opportunity. But the point is he's had a lot of opportunities to really focus in on football and be someone that could help his team win. And instead what he does is he goes out to the golf course, which is what I was talking about a little bit ago. He's a golfer. He's a amateur golfer, and he's had a lot of chances to basically be a pro golfer. And so literally just about 4 weeks off from saying I'm done, he's already out there trying to make it to the U.S. Open. Now that's fine, but we heard somebody say earlier, you know, if I was one of Tony Romo's former teammates, I would be kind of upset about that because it just shows that you really weren't that locked in and focused about helping us win a championship in the first place. You care more about trying to win a golf tournament or be a pro golfer than you are trying to help us win a Super Bowl.
Well, but the truth is, if anybody on his former teammates is surprised by that, you weren't paying attention.
Right.
He spent most of his off seasons at the golf course.
Exactly.
He was posting videos of himself, and he's been talking about the fact that he wanted to go pro in golf forever.
A long time
so
ago.
if all of a sudden you're surprised that he almost, and by the way, I think he finished 1 over par, and the make mark was 2 under, so he's only 3 strokes off of actually making it.
Yeah.
So I guess the question is, you said who's the bigger fraud? My thing is, who's got the bigger chance of actually succeeding? Is it Tim Tebow being in the majors? Is it Tony Romo making the U.S. Open?
Right.
Or is it LaVar Ball becoming a shoe mogul billionaire?
To take over from Nike.
Which one of those do you think has the best
honestly,
chance?
I'm just going to go quick. I think Tony Romo has a chance because he's actually pretty good at golf, and if he just has a good run there on one of the golf courses, he'll play into one of the tournaments. I think it's going to be really hard for Tim Tebow to really be successful because there's a lot of layers to it. And LaVar Ball, there's just no way for me, and I don't think so. So what do you think?
I'm going to give you 100% ditto. Of those 3 up there, the only person that even has a chance is Tony Romo.
Yes.
Tim Tebow, I'm waiting for the Tebow and LaVar Ball thing to maybe they'll just mix. It's too bad LaVar doesn't have a daughter, because she could marry Tim Tebow and they could just go out there and make their own line of who knows what.
Honestly,
baby
I don't
clothes,
even want that.
dog clothes.
Let's just not have that
billionaire
happen.
I don't know.
Anyways,
billionaire dog
we're going
collars.
to continue to bring you more updates on what's going on. It's really hot out here, and so we're going to go ahead and go inside and continue to do what we do.
Bees.
Yeah, we got bees out here that are drive bombing us, and so I'm thirsty and I'm sweating. But we want to say we appreciate everyone tuning in for us, and we'll continue to bring you more updates. See you next time, folks.
Bye-bye.